Mr. Trump is freezing daycare funds. How is this going to be spun? But the bigger question, and really the bigger thoughts are, it doesn't matter how it's spun. It's all the wrong side of the trade. Daycare funds being frozen, massive tax fraud coming out of Minnesota. But again, let's be honest, it's coming out of every municipality, every state, every organization in the Western Hemisphere. Anything that has a fiat government run political currency. Christine Lagarde just quietly came out a few days ago saying what we know to be true, saying the quiet part out loud. They're moving to the later stages of a CBDC, central bank digital currency, while also rolling out new banknotes. And they want to know who should be on those banknotes, whose pretty face should don those beautiful banknotes that are worth precisely zero. Then the delivery driver goes viral. I don't know if any of you saw this, but the delivery driver note of the scam being unearthed, which we're going to get into, and we're going to touch on this, and it exposes the entire system and what's going on. And let's be clear, none of this is random. That's the thing. So many people are waking up to this right now, thinking this is just these are political stunts, and this is just some random thing happening right now. These scams don't happen because people suddenly become immoral. Ironically, the opposite is true. Humans are made good. They're made in God's image. But this happens because the money itself is fake. The incentives of the system are such that they are going to track your every tip under the table. $600 expenditure while there's billions, no, trillions going to endless wars. Why is that? Why are we drone striking random countries for years on end? Why are we starting new wars, endless wars? Why is there rampant fraud everywhere? Why are socialist mayors being elected in New York? Why do we have ridiculous, crazy tax policy, eat the rich going on in California? Again, these are all symptoms of the same problem. It's the same problem that has plagued human civilization for thousands of years. And it's not the money's being broken. The money is not broken. Fiat currency is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's designed to scam the living shit out of you. That's what fake government political currencies are meant to do. Let me say that one more time. Government-run political currencies are designed to scam the living shit out of you. This is what they've been set up to do for thousands of years. Go ask any of the kings, dictators, anyone out there for thousands of years that has learned to clip coins, melt coins down, and take the time and energy from its citizens without having to tell them. Where do you think that leads you? You cannot have honest society from dishonest money. These are novel concepts to the average person because they are not taught in America. They're not taught in Western culture. They're not taught in any culture anymore. Why is that? Because everything is built on fiat political currencies. We don't have any currency in the world built on sound monetary policies backed by anything. So the whole system has to be a pseudoscience. It has to be built on hot air. When currency is backed by nothing and printed endlessly, there is no cost of failure. Society is incentivized to lie, cheat, and extract before the value disappears. Period. End of story. This is something that you're never going to learn. I'm someone who is government-run school educated, all the way up from grade school through high school into college, going to Michigan State University. Got a degree, guys. Got a degree in economics, pre-law. Guess what I learned about all that? Zero. You're never going to find this anywhere. This is the scam that we are seeing right now is the tip of the spear. It's just the surface of what's going on. This is why bureaucracies rot. This is why empires fall. This is why every program eventually becomes a honeypot. One centralized node trying to run everything, trying to run the inputs for everything in the economy. And while governments respond with freezes, investigations, central banks are racing towards programmable money so they can control you even more. And look, you just had a guy come out, some cybersecurity expert, talking about how the First Amendment needs to go away in America. And I don't even think he's from America, as far as I could tell. I mean, that's the clown world we've got to. But this goes back to the Max Payne theory. I remember vividly in 2012. I, I I'm not saying this. Some are saying that I look younger than I am. I'm not saying it. Some people say it. I've had many people tell me this. And I was in my 20s during the 2012 election. It was very political. And I could tell then, and '08 as well, '08 and 2012, we were going to need Max Payne. And we had Max Payne. And yet the same things kept happening. The same things kept happening. We are going to need much more pain. Much, much more pain. This is something that I think that we all have to grapple with and recognize with 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are going into Max Payne. There's no if and or but about it. There's no other way about it. Humans learn through touching the stove, and we are going into that world. Now, I'm guessing many people here have Bitcoin. That's great. It's not financial advice. I would also get some other tangible assets as well. I would go get some things. Food, water, ability to clean water, lead, things like that. This is a story all the time. What if a hurricane comes? What if a tornado comes? What if you get a generator? Like, you need some things in case there's a snowstorm that happens, or the power goes out. These things are a normal part of life, but they were looked down upon for so long that the average person has literally no idea how to handle themselves. So they look toward the government to take care of everything in their life. Again, we could name a list. You can see you guys throwing in some comments. I mean, again, think about the war in Afghanistan for 20 years. Let's think of a list of all the things that are complete scams. And I'm talking like, $10 million, $100 million and up. PPP loans. How about that? The vaccine, just vaccines in general, like overall. Yes, some are good. Obviously, there are, people are going to argue about these things all they want, right? But think of the money grabs, right? The food pyramid, the entire thing, the sugar industry. Let's go down the list of all the things that people have their hands in the cookie jar, trying to extract value. So this is where we're at. And it's the design of fiat currencies. And it's not that someone's sitting there at the top saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do some fun and games here and play this stuff." When you choose evil, when you choose wrong at the top of the river, you infect everything downstream. You get all the consequences of that decision. It's not, again, you don't have to go and micromanage every last decision. If you're an evil person, I don't have to go micromanage someone 100 municipalities down in this country over here, or in that municipality over here, or that organization over here. When you have dishonest money, evil does its job. Evil is then enabled thing. And I knew I was lazy as shit. I knew I was wrong. I don't have to be told. People go to conferences. People come to all these different things. People come watch these videos. I feel compelled to make videos. Bitcoiners everywhere talking or running our mouths, because you don't need, everyone knows the answer. Like, we don't need me, or we don't need you guys here, or we don't need anyone running their mouth about what's going on. A human is a human. We're smart as shit at the end of the day. This is not rocket science. You're being stolen from. You're being scammed. And for whatever reason, we want to lie to ourselves for a long time because we're lazy. We rationalize things. We try to take the easy way out. Humans are the path of least resistance. We know the answer. You don't need to be told what's going on. But no one does anything about it. The agency is not there. It's the most frustrating thing. For all of us, I'm speaking, even for yourselves personally, individually. On top of all that, the programmable money, CBDCs, the central banks, Christine Lagarde's, Trump freezing more funds, the 4-year cycle is broken. Newsflash. The transition phase. And not because some pie in the sky BS, whatever it is. Not some hopium, crypto bros going to the moon. Because Bitcoin gives you freedom. It's an honest ledger. The globe can do their accounting on, and not have the Christine Lagardes of the world scamming you, not have Donald Trump freezing your funds. Although, yes, taxpayer money going to really 99.9% of things they send our money to is ridiculous and should be stopped. But it's because of that very thing. They cannot scam you with Bitcoin. You cannot have more of Bitcoin printed. You cannot have a dishonest system from honest money. So, or better said, obviously, you, like we said earlier, you're going to have a dishonest system from dishonest money. But your chances of having an honest system with an honest money are much greater. Still could have a dishonest system. So I shouldn't say you can't have because Bitcoin's not going to bring utopia. And that's what the crypto bros miss. That's what the legacy world misses. That's what the average guy or gal misses. It's people just waking up enough, having the time 13 years ago. And I said 2012 was when that election is when I stopped playing professional hockey. Multiple reasons, because I was getting hurt, getting in too many fights, too many hits, and I wanted my head. I wanted my head to when I was 40, which is I'm approaching now. I wanted to be sane. I knew there was a battle. I knew there was a fight raging on because I was very plugged into the system. For any of you who know my story, very plugged in. And I knew I had people to save around me. I knew my calling inside. I knew since I was a child, as a protector, as someone who got into fights all the time to protect other people. My job was to be here, to try to do what I can, do wherever the Holy Spirit led me to fight the good fight, to fight for truth, to do what I possibly can do. So here we are. And again, I appreciate you guys being here. Our show was the fastest growing Bitcoin show the first 6, 8, 9 months of the year this year. And then it was conversely one of the slowest growing shows over the last few months. So I appreciate those of you who are still here. And it's because we kind of turned what we're doing a little bit. Some things that we were sensing, some things that I was sensing, and that the narration of what was going on, and just the themes of life, and feeling myself slightly getting away from the mission, getting from the goal of truth. And here we are. It's not going to garner the most attention, but I don't care. Now, if it does, if truth garners the attention, then great. That's wonderful. God will provide and we'll be there. But the truth is the most important thing at the end of the day. And damned are the consequences. So we're at the time. We're at the time that tried men's souls. 250-year revolutionary cycle. Here we are. So we have a lot to do, boys and girls. Here's the Trump article that I was talking about. Trump administration paused all federal child care payments to the U.S. states, including Minnesota, after independent journalist Nick Shirley documented empty Somali-owned senators claiming $110 million for non-existent services. This follows Minnesota's history of social services fraud. I grew up in Michigan. Hello, Kwame Kilpatrick. Any of you who know Kwame Kilpatrick, the mayor here, who defrauded and embezzled, racketeering, whatever, money laundering, millions of dollars. This goes on everywhere, every city in the country. This is what happens with fake political fiat currencies backed by nothing. There is nothing to tether you to reality. So if you don't want to be scammed, if you do not like having your tax money go to anything and everything against your will, then you probably should adopt Bitcoin, study Bitcoin. But hey, what do we know? What do we know? So the quiet part's being said out loud everywhere. So even though it seems this is I think the hardest part and the most insidious part for a lot of people is that this red and blue dichotomy. People think like, oh, this is good. This is really good. I mean, look, you had in 2001, September 11th, you had, oh, the Patriot Act. We're going to have, this is going to be great. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, we're going to get rid of terrorists. Literally like 99% of the country was on board with that. How did that one turn out? Here, same thing. Just because your guy's doing it, or the guy, or our guy, or whoever it is, doesn't make it right. So these things shouldn't even be happening in the first place. These things get out of control. We completely lose control of all of it because we're trying to do one node in Washington, D.C., trying to handle all of these things across the country. So, of course, there's going to be no auditing, no accountability. We have no idea what's happening anywhere with any of the cash. I mean, again, we left what was it, $50 billion, $100 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan we pulled out. Not only was the war $7 trillion for 20 years and 5,000 American lives and hundreds of thousands of Iraqi lives and plus whoever else we were fighting, whoever else was sent over there that we don't know about. And then we said, oh, you know what? Here's an extra free parting gift of $100 billion. PPP loans, the COVID trillions, $700 billion for TARP, and then subsequent, QE1, 2, whatever. And then during COVID, $2, $3, $5 trillion at a time, boom, 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 just injected into the economy. Where do you think that went? Ukraine, just blasting cash into the stratosphere, right into Zelensky and in all the cronies' pockets. I mean, this just goes on and on and on. And all of a sudden, this what does make you, as someone who's trying to think adversarially, it does make you wonder at times, why does this thing blow up and others don't? Why does this really get someone set off and get society set off? And people are talking tax revolt, which is interesting. By the way, did you know that the American Revolution was about 25 years long? It was 1765 I was doing some studying up again for one of the books that I'm writing about this time period in Bitcoin, American Revolution in Bitcoin. And it was about 1765 to 1791. So, about 25, 26 years. And so if you extrapolate out 26 years from 2009, that'd be, mid next decade, about 10 years from now. So we're right on cue. Again, cycles don't repeat, they rhyme. And that's where we are in this story as well. We're in a place where we are 10 years away, most likely ish, could be 2, 3, 4, 5, or could be 10, 15, where society has had enough pain. They've been hit in the face 1,000 times. There's been times where you're in a fight. If you're in a bar fight, or if you're you're in a hockey fight, or you're in like a brawl, you have to understand very quickly that you're in a fight, number one, or else you're going to get hurt badly. And this is why I've talked about over the years many times, a lot of society we've had problems because, in my opinion, people don't get punched in the face anymore. As a kid, growing up, learning, growing, understanding what's happening, consequences, reality, merit, and accountability, that's helped me drastically in my life to know that there's a feedback loop. We've severed all feedback loops in life. So not only in the currencies, but also just altercations, communication. These feedback loops are gone. So if I say someone or I keyboard warrior to somebody, there's little to no ramifications. We see it maybe in spurts with public events and these reactions or retributions or revenge or people lashing out. But we have this world where if you don't understand you're in a fight, your senses go to a level that you just don't understand. And you call it adrenaline and then some, and just the drugs inside your body, the natural drugs that elevate you to a level that you're on, you have tunnel vision, and then you're also trying to keep your head on a swivel because you don't know who's going to sucker punch you. You don't know who's coming at you from the side, who's got their fists are flying, they're doing who knows what, they're grabbing something. You just don't know. And that's the world that you live in, we all live in, but it's ephemeral, it's invisible, so we don't see it. It's very tough. We're getting beat all the time, every single day, and we don't realize it, we don't understand, and we just let it happen. And then we tell people, well, government's never gonna let us do that, they're never gonna let us out of our cage. We are the government. Newsflash, guys, newsflash. We are the government. So again, just because Trump's doing it, or just because it's some false flag event, or it's just, if we're freezing daycare funds, what is that going to do? How is that going to help anything? Like, the freezing the daycare, that's the false flag. This is going on everywhere. So by doing this, my hope is that people continue not to wake up. I also hope the 4-year cycle has been broken in Bitcoin, but I think also the death and taxes, the things that are inevitable in life, I think we're just down to just death. I don't think taxes are inevitable anymore. I think there's a real chance. I think this is a real push. Because again, we are the government. This is that just blows my mind. But again, we are so removed from merit and accountability and responsibility and truth and taking action that we just can't even conceive of some of these things. And actually just, taking action and realizing, oh, you know what, I can actually do some things and have some things, and just feeling like we're good enough. Honestly, I think a lot of people have a hard time feeling that they're good enough. Like Bitcoin is so simple and winning is so simple. Winning is a habit though, but I think people have a really hard time understanding that they can win and they deserve to win. I was thinking of Christine Lagarde, and again, I was trying to search for her, the thing I'll show you in a second. Again, about her just talking about the little goofy video that they did about the CBDCs and everything, and just a pure ridiculous evil that it is. But I digress. This is from a year ago, January 2025. And she's saying there's confident that Bitcoin will never enter the reserves of any European central bank. Well, that's funny because we don't need central banks. The central banks are going away. But again, this is why I brought up the American Revolution. And there's so many parallels. It's rhyming, not repeating. But we have this world where we're 10 years away, about 5 years away. Now, I do think there's caveats to that. I do think this could speed up very quickly. I think things could crumble very, very fast. I thought in 2012, things were really going to break apart and fall apart. At the bottom of that recession, I thought, okay, we got Tea Party, Occupy Wall Street, like, let's go. People get it. Like, people were pissed. I think we need a Occupy Tea Party. We need a 2.0. Those two entities were two sides of the same coin, yet the media told, again, red and blue, that we are on different sides and we hate each other. I know so many people inside of Bitcoin I've met that were in the Tea Party, and I know so many that were in Occupy Wall Street, and they're all Bitcoiners now. That should tell you something. It should tell you that we're all much more similar than we are different. That we all believe 99.9% even lives and et cetera, et cetera. But again, that's, well, even say 90%, 95%. That's 9 out of 10. More than 9 out of 10 people that you meet believe the same things you do. They believe the same freedom. And again, I think the Ronald Reagan quote is probably the most apropos. And he said, it's not the Democrats are dumb. It's that they know so much that isn't so. I think that's, I think it's not a red versus blue thing, because that was a world that everyone lived in really at that time, was red versus blue. And I think that's really just most of society. And I think it's just like this enlightenment. I think it's almost like it's like, instead of red versus blue, it's a Maslow's hierarchy. Like, if you're getting closer to the top of Maslow's hierarchy, in a sense, maybe that's not the best way to say it, but the higher you reach, then you start realizing, obviously Bitcoin's one of those filters, one of those frames. Once you see Bitcoin, you're on the life raft and you move away from the Titanic, you see it sinking. Here we go. Now we can really understand what's happening, and we can understand that it's not red versus blue, it's the state versus you. You can see the things really going down, but it's hard to see. Basically impossible to see if you're on the Titanic still. So Christine, getting it wrong again. What do you know? But again, these things will continue to happen though. Like, we are going to continue to lose. We're going to continue to lose though, and we'll continue to lose freedoms, and it will be painful and hard in the interim if we don't stand up. And we don't vote with our mouth, vote with our feet, vote with our wallet. We don't do these things. These things will be harder, way harder than they have to be. I would like them not to be as hard as they have to be. And I know probably many of you would as well. There's no reason they need to be nearly this hard. They just don't. So I'm going to try to find the other one. Christine. Oh, Christine. I don't know if you guys saw this one of Christine a few days ago, whatever it was, of her talking about why. I don't understand why they have the most ridiculous videos. Like, why are these the most ridiculous videos? All right, anyway, I pause really quick because I want to say what up to you guys. Hat Boy, great to see you guys. Sparkly Horns, Trini, Digital Lark, Din Din, what up? What up? Kenyam Beats, let's go. Good to see you guys. Dagger, Stack the Dip, Tore Up, John. Yes, truly good fortune and peace to all in 2026. So this is the game though. So Christine telling you, we're going to go ahead with the pilot phase of the digital euro and then the launch. Who asked it? Who asked for this? This is the thing that always blows me away. They just come in with the assumption sale, or like the the assumption close. Like, oh, you asked for it, we're gonna give it to you. Who? No, no one. Precisely 0 people have ever asked you guys for the CBDC. But yeah, we're going ahead with it. Like, yeah, I know you guys been waiting for it. We're going for it. No, no one. Literally, no one has been asking for this. Conversely, we're asking for Bitcoin. We're asking for freedom, more freedom, less control. And she's over here. We just showed the tweet from a year ago saying, "Oh, Bitcoin will never be it." Well, again, why is that? Why is that? Why? It's because it takes control away from them. We've talked about this many times. This is the energy FUD that we've been seeing for 16 years now. By the way, happy birthday eve to Bitcoin, 17th birthday. That's why I also thinking about the American Revolution and talking about this, because we are about 10 years away. Again, the American Revolution was about 25 years long, from the Stamp Act, 1765 to the Bill of Rights in 1791. And part of this, again, is going to be the end of the road for us. Bushido of Bitcoin is what Alex Spassky wrote. Part of what Bitcoiners, we get a little bit too anarchist at times. Like, it's not going to be, there's going to be guardrails on society. It's not going to be complete anarchy, because it would be Genghis Khan, and like the biggest, baddest guy wins, which again, we might have that for a little bit. It could be Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise for a little bit, but at some point people ask for a king, they ask for a ruler, they asked for guardrails. Again, we have thousands of years of history to show us that exact thing. People have a hard time governing themselves for many reasons, known and unknown. So the energy FUD, what I was going with that though, is the energy FUD was here. It's the birthday time for Bitcoin, and which is always a great time of year. And then we are going forward into this next decade, which is the time to rise, and it's the time to build some structure on top of Bitcoin. The Bill of Rights, we're going to have this world, the Declaration of Monetary Independence, we're going to have, which has been written. And I'm sure some of you guys have read, there's a lot of works, there's a lot of things that Bitcoiners are going to need to do to take action. We cannot just sit back and act like we're not in this fight. You might not like war, but war likes you. And war looks like many things. Namely, it's an information war. We are in an information war. And we've been taking a back seat, in my opinion, to ETFs, to Wall Street, to all these narratives, to price. Price, very important. Price, probably the most important thing. And that's why, again, we're still going to talk about price over time. It ebbs and flows and trends, and you have to try to reach people. Or otherwise, guess what? You ain't going to reach people. Because like I said earlier, the first 9 months of this year, this was the fastest growing Bitcoin channel, or 8 months, and in podcast, and now it's the slowest growing. So why is that? Well, a lot of it's because I've turned some things, and if truth to truth, we're going to talk the truth, and we're going to focus on what's important, what's true, what's actually important, and that's it. So anyway, we're going to have some rules and guidelines and systems set up going forward, like it or not. Because that's how humans operate. So the energy FUD, going back to this, the energy FUD was here for 15, 16, 17 years now, whatever. And now all of a sudden it's gone because AI needs it. AI needs energy. It needs way more. So now you hear nothing about Bitcoin, but what do you hear? Quantum. Quantum. Oh, all of a sudden quantum's a big thing. Since when? Since when is quantum a big thing? Literally no one was talking about quantum. None. Quantum will be a way bigger threat to government and centralized entities than it ever will be for Bitcoin. So why? And then the beauty of it is that quantum's harder to pin down than these other things. You can easily talk away the energy FUD, things of that nature, with math, whatever. But the quantum thing is very hard, very pie in the sky. So it's this ephemeral thing that's hard to pin down. So here we are again. We're fighting these narratives paid for by people like this, like Christine, like Jerome Powell, the U.S. government, the governments around the world. But it's okay, the truth will prevail. Some of us will prevail. Someone here passing forward the Bitcoin torch will prevail. My kids will prevail. They will win. They will eventually pick up the torch, and they will win, and they will bring us across the finish line. And that's what evil can't stand. Evil cannot stand that we found a way, the plebs found a way to take freedom out of their hands. They can't stand it. And that's the fight, the spiritual fight that we've been talking about for a while, which, again, that's why this channel has taken a turn over the last 3 or 4 months, in that the algos don't like that. Uh, it's a spiritual war, guys. This is why we talked about getting in actual fights earlier. We talked about a lot of spiritual fights and spiritual war at 24/7, 365. And to deny that is totally naive. We are in a spiritual war. If we can't look around and understand that and see that, then we are effed. We are effed. Again, that's, we just had 3 or 4 people drop off right there. People can't handle it. People cannot handle the truth. A few good men. You can't handle the truth. And until we start acknowledging that, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. So now we have the AI. AI, I mean, again, this thing could fall like ESG, a centralized fraud. Who knows? This is going to be clown world. This is going to be absolute clown world going forward. False flags. When are we going to have a false flag? When's something going to happen to distract us from the Somali daycare center thing as well? And you already see it being spun different ways, and it's like red, blue. I think people are seeing it, though. I even saw Robert Reich, the guy. He's like 4 feet tall, and he was like the labor secretary like 10 years ago or something like that. He even was like, this is not red versus blue. This is a fight versus like, something. He almost had it right. Like he almost had it. He was super close. And I was like, wow, that was like the most sane piece of commentary I've ever heard from that guy in my life. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But we have to stick together. We have to band together. We have to build community. This is why local Bitcoin meetups are so important. Running a node, self-custody, getting your stamp seed plate, getting your cold storage wallet. Appreciate you guys. There's been a bunch of you guys supporting the channel, which I appreciate a ton. Buying stamp seed kits. We're going to have James on, by the way, maybe next week. We got some recording, though. We're recording a Samson Mao next week. Tony Yazbek from the Bitcoin Way next week. We're going to have Doomberg recording with next week. A lot of interesting stuff going to happen this year. And just the way that we're going to be just expanding the show and different things we're doing. So, but get your open source cold storage wallet. Put your seed that you generate from that. Takes a few minutes. Put it on your stamp seed plate. Put it in titanium. This is super simple stuff that we have to do. Helps one other person do it. And this is how this process works over time. Instead of waiting, sitting around and just twiddling our thumbs and saying, hey, when's someone else going to do something? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? When is Wall Street going to take us to the moon? That's why Bitcoin partially has a bad rap right now. We got a lot of people that, rightfully so, have objections to Bitcoin because a lot of us have been sitting around doing nothing. So we're all in this together. We are all in this together. So quantum be a way bigger threat to all the centralized legacy entities than it will be Bitcoin. They don't want you to know that. They do not want you to know that, though. So again, the big picture is fiat creates the scams. The CBDCs in this is very simple. Very, very simple stuff. But max pain. Max pain will probably be needed. Like, let's be totally honest. Who thinks, again, this is why I bring up George Washington. George Washington, we send a letter over to the king as he say, like, oh yeah, you know what? You guys can have freedom. You guys can have freedom. Sure, you guys can have freedom. Absolutely. Let's do it. We do need the Punisher. We need the Punisher. We need Max Payne. We absolutely do. Payne's going to come in many ways, though. That's the thing. Like, people, I think everyone just kind of think it's going to be like one thing, or it's going to be like a market crash or something like that. I think Max Payne is going to come in a lot of different ways. It's going to come in these different tax revolts. It's going to come in social media outrage. We saw what happened with Charlie a few months ago. More of these things are going to happen in many different ways, unfortunately. Different types of recessions. Melt up. Asset prices going way up. Bitcoin going way up. And then people being mad at Bitcoiners because, oh, yeah, that's coming too. That's another thing to prepare for. Prepare for you being blamed. We will be blamed for the collapse of the currency or the Bitcoin. Awesome right now here on a Friday night for some reason, but it is snowing. The weather's not great. Please ask the price to go up. Dagger, I will ask the network to pump that USD price I will do my thing. But again, keep the main thing the main thing. I don't have my chart up here, which I show a lot of times, obviously, but the chart. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show this the other the whatchamacallit chart though. The cycles being broken. So obviously, cycles are broken. So we love that. Oh man, but the debt chart, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is the main thing. The debt is going up forever. Nothing can stop this train, as Lynn Alden has popularized. Nothing is stopping this train. This is going to happen forever. This is the world we are living in, guys. There is no debt ceiling. There's no like it's all fake. It's all fake. There's Somali daycare centers. I mean, look what happened during COVID. Even if half the videos were wrong, look at you couldn't even see who was voting. You can't audit the voting. No one even knows. That's the thing. Like I can therefore assume there is cheating and funny games happening because I wanted to win in Monopoly. So I cheated. I took more money out of the toll. I took 400 instead of 200. This is what happens. And we don't believe that our leaders are cheating us. Again, how many times do we need to see it? So we'll ask the Bitcoin price to go up, and it will. It's going to shake people to their core. It's going to shake institutions to their core. The whole thing's coming down. The Titanic is him. What is good? I don't know what does this mean, Trini? Is that Walsh? This Minnesota thing is too much. Oh, walls. Yeah. Yeah, that's walls. I mean, again, this just wild. Digital Lark, preach. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Amen, brother. Sparkly Horn said, yes, appreciate it. Yeah, when I'm rocking the camo Nostr hat from Howler's Official, by the way. A nice Howler's Official logo on the back. You know it's going to be a spicy video. This is a great hat. I love this hat. Corey made it. Awesome guy. He makes the jerseys, the Bitcoin jerseys that you see everywhere for years now. The black ones with the orange. We have really cool Bitcoin trading cards ones. Studio BTC he made me and Murphy and Aladdin a few years ago when we were at the Nashville conference. Just incredible guy. He's literally one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. And he's like 28 years old, 30 years old. And he's got his business. He runs it. Just incredible guy. We have so many good Bitcoiners. You guys are, I mean, all you guys here, we're going to win, but it's not going to come without Max Payne and doing our job, doing our work, preaching the truth, taking action. So that's that's it for sure, Kenyon. Some of us, humanity awakes. The system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Exactly what it's designed to do. And stay humble and stack sats. Stay humble. That's the biggest thing, right? Stay humble. Stack sats. That's what all we can do at the end of the day. So I hope you guys are good. Can you hear me? Make sure. I know my internet's not been super awesome. So I appreciate you guys a ton. I think that is, I don't even know. I lost my script of the show, to be totally honest. I always have like bullet points. Like I've told you, I've either showed it before or I've told you guys before. I try to like put together like, screenshots of like different things of the day I'm thinking about or talking about. And then I try to just organize it. And just by something to, things I want to talk about, I guess. Because then I just riff. then I just go. I just riff in between all the bullet points. I just have like, okay, here's like 5-6 different topics to hit. RIP 4-year cycle. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. But this is what the incentives of the system are. And it is truly wild to see what is happening. What's been the biggest takeaway for you guys, like just seeing the last week or so of this Nick Shirley thing in Minnesota? Like what's been the most surprising thing, or what's been the most eye-opening, or what's been the most hopeful thing for any of you guys that can actually type something or have something to type. I'm just I'm stunned, I guess, in general, just because you feel being in the Bitcoin echo chamber, you feel like you maybe hope like more people do know what's going on, and then you just kind of see what happens, and you realize like, wow, we have more pain, and that's why I go back to max pain. Like, there's so many people that have just been asleep or think they can't do anything, and they have no agency in their life. So, but also greatly hopeful, or it makes me very hopeful though, because I'll say this, and again, in 20 plus years, what year is it now? It's 2026. So in over 25 years, I remember the Bush Gore election in 2000. I remember arguing classmates. I think it was in eighth grade, yeah. And that was when I really, my first memories of being political. And so in 25 years, I've never seen anything like this before, with the amount of fervor for people to wake up and end government overreach. And again, I thought we were going to get more of that potentially in the Trump administration. Well, I mean, I was hopeful that we would. I didn't really think that we would, because I'll say this. I thought the only way, if there's a guy who was almost shot and assassinated, I thought, hey, if there's anyone who's going to do something and actually shake the boat, it's going to be this guy because of what just happened to him. So I was hopeful that, hey, maybe they'll come do something. And then, cutscene, nothing happens. And so you just figure like, okay, more of the same, like whatever. That's disappointing. But my only thing was I had a lot of people ask me, and I don't know about you guys, what was going to be the one thing that could save the system that we're currently in. And long term, as you guys know, there's nothing that can save this system long term. Nothing can save the fiat system long term, like another 100 years from now or something like that. But the one thing that could have really kicked the can down the road for maybe another handful of decades, or whatever, is cutting 95 to 99% of the government immediately. Coming in, and you just stroke a pen and say, all these government agencies are gone. I was trying to look up the other day how many government agencies there were, and I couldn't even get through them all. If you go to Wikipedia, there are so many government agencies. It's just like the scrolls. It's just like it's the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, my favorite Department of Homeland Security has 250,000 agents. They started in 01 after 9/11. 01. They've added 20,000 people a year. What in the world are they doing? Are we 240,000 times safer now? I mean, think about the clown world that we live in. Patriot Act, just one agency, Department of Homeland Security, 240,000 people, 20,000 a year were added. Actually, I think I might have looked up that a couple of years ago, because that was, oh no, it was 24. Yeah, so 20,000 people a year. Mind-blowing statistic. So if you got rid of 99% of the government agencies, which again is not feasible because government's the biggest employer in the country, you're wiping out millions of people's livelihood. So even though they're not productive, unfortunately, to moving society forward, the social, and this is why I said that when I interviewed Dr. Jeff, or I don't know who it was now, it was somebody, and I said, I think the thing that people don't understand, the social ramifications won't let us go backwards, meaning people think like merit and accountability and austerity or whatever it is going to come back into the system. And I used to think this 15 years ago. And then you realize, like, with social media and all these things happening now, you can't have, like, student loan debt will not get canceled, or like long-term, that will not be paid off by the students. People won't get kicked out of their houses in the future. I don't care who's in the government, until or unless the societal pressure is so great. That's what they say where it changes, right? The pain to change has to be less than the change or the pain you're experiencing right now. Well, the same thing. Can you imagine 10 million people being kicked out of their homes like they were in 08, 09, 10, whatever? And now we have social media. So people running around up and down the street with their phone, be like, oh, look at Chase Bank. Wells Fargo is kicking the Johnson family out of their home. Absolutely not. Will not happen. The social pressure is going to override and overrun, and therefore kick the can down the road. All these things are going to happen to try to kick the can down the road. This is a great reason as to why Bitcoin will continue to go up in USD price long-term forever, until the US dollar collapses into and folds right into Bitcoin. It will evaporate and just vaporize eventually, because there is no way in this society where everyone is so weary and scared of what other people think of them, and social media, and trying to pump their life on social media and all this stuff, that you can have a world where there's any modicum of unequalness or unfairness or whatever it is. It just won't happen. That societal pressure is way too strong. So, all right, let me see your stuff here quick. That no one's getting prosecuted. Yeah, I mean, what was it? There was another one, Hat Boy. There was something this year. There was a couple things that were like nothing happened. There was massive things. I don't know if this is Doge stuff and massive things were happening. Nothing. Like no prosecutions. Nothing happening. No one cared. It's like whatever. It is what it is. I forgot what it was though. Um, Dagger. The government ruins anything it touches. Boy, I was thinking about that the other day. About how everything. I mean, literally everything the government does, it just cripples. Can't steal Bitcoin. That was a great one. That's a great one too. And the Canadian truckers proved that as well. Can't steal Bitcoin. Can't freeze Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only thing that can be used. The Canadian trucker peaceful protest. Oh, you want to get scammed? Keep all your stuff in a brokerage account. Keep it all in a 401k. Keep it all inside Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe. Keep it all inside your government daycare accounts or whatever. Cool. It's gonna be gone. You got a Shell LLC or whatever it is. Okay. Well, it's going to be frozen. The accounts are going to be frozen at some point. They will find you. That's that. This is the thing that no one talks about. This is why our channel has turned a bit over the last handful of months. And you're trying to ride a line of like, guys, we have agency. Like we are the government. We have freedom. The government answers to us. And you're always trying to ride that line because that's obviously that ain't popular. Even the average person doesn't even want to hear that. Like the average person doesn't want to hear like, oh, I've got to put some work in. I don't want truth. I don't want things to be hard. That's not the world we live in. So that is not a popular message anywhere. Not only that, but then you have to deal with the ramifications of like, well, maybe your account's frozen or maybe you're kicked off or whatever it is. So you're always trying to ride this line of putting out truth and also reaching as many peers Hopefully you guys can hear me. Good to see you. Yes, Kelvin, it is awesome to see you as well. Thank you for jumping in. It is awesome to see you. Hatboy, I did a grant accounting, Fed and state, their third-party auditors had to sign off on yearly reports for all funds distributed, Big Four firms. This is an epic fraud case that is funding politicians and overseas terror groups. Yeah, yeah. And it's happening all over. This is a thing, again, that, how many Jason Bourne or James Bond or, like there's so many things where you can, this happens everywhere at every level. I mean, we're just numbers at the end of the day. We're just statistics. Like we do, whether it's big four accounting firms or 3-letter agencies, like we're just statistics at the end of the day. I think that's what, again, because there's no community. There's no basis of reality, no feedback loops. So everyone's a number in a spreadsheet. Everyone's a statistic. It doesn't matter. That's what we've lost. That's why this will take a while. It's going to be a generation or two before Bitcoin truly takes over. Sorry, I don't know why the internet's just terrible right now. Good old weather. So it's going to take a while to heal. It's going to take a while for nature to heal and for us to heal together. So, and our kids are not going to know any different other than treating people with love and kindness and Bitcoin and truth. They won't know. They laugh at this stuff already. 401ks, pensions, old insurance paradigm, all this stuff. Like it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Well, who would look at this? If an alien came down right now, or a child looking at the system, why they would just laugh? Why would I be investing in the system? Why would I be doing this? How many people knew about the fraud and said nothing about it? It's a great question, Chris. Yeah, it's a phenomenal question. Where are you, Tim Walls? Where are you? Who was the guy, the senator? Oh my gosh, who was it? He did his swearing in on the Quran a couple of years ago up in Minnesota. He ran for that. Can't remember. And he is going to Yale right now or Harvard, and he was just on like on the dole up there, getting like $110,000 paycheck and also a $70,000 stipend or something like that. He's making like 180 grand a year for just like going to school at Harvard. But look at Bernie Sanders. I mean, like the people. This is what's crazy. Like, go watch a Bernie Sanders video on YouTube. Gets like millions of subscribers, millions of followers, and those are like Bitcoiners. I mean, people. There's a few low IQ people there, unfortunately, but hey, we're all 80 IQ plebs at the end of the day, and people just they can see the problems and they get it, but they just completely miss the boat. I mean, just completely missing the boat. They're on the Titanic still shuffling deck chairs, and they don't see the huge Bitcoin life rafts off the Titanic going away as they are at a, we'll call it a 45-degree angle. I mean, people are gonna be sliding in the water here, and it's gonna be interesting. But a lot of people know about the fraud, and then a lot of people don't, obviously as well. But that's how the system works. Only people that need to know, right? It's like the top 10% of like every three-letter agency or CIA or whatever. They know what's going on. It's how. I just was watching someone recently, and they were talking about how the CIA and all these different, you go into these operations, and they will run these operations, and only the people that need to know are in the know, right? So they'll tell you, they'll have a couple people at the top that might be some very, very immoral, what any of us would look at it and be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But then you break it up and fragment the groups and the structure and who's running this op, and it fragments out. So the people that are doing these things and carrying out 90% of what's going on have no idea what they're doing, really, at the end of the day. They just think like, oh, I'm carrying out this project for the government, for my job, and I'm making America safer. No idea. Completely lost. So that's where the incentives of the system, it's like you can't throw people under the bus. You can't throw everyone under the bus and say, oh, you're evil, you didn't know what was going on, or you knew what was going on, you're evil, you're a POS. No, that's not how it works. Most people have no idea what's going on. There are a bunch that do, though. There are people, to your point, Chris, there's a lot of people that do know what's going on, but most people are just completely lost. And that's a feature. It's not a bug. So, Frozen 4, let's go. Frozen 4. It'll be a 20-year anniversary next year for us of winning the Frozen 4, by the way. Michigan State. 2007, boys and girls. Natty champs in 2007. So we have a lot of reckoning to happen. A lot of work to do, and a lot of fun to be had. But it's gonna be fun this year. I think that this year we're gonna be doing a lot of local conference stuff, a lot of local meetups. Not going to be doing national stuff, really, I don't think. Not going to be going. I went to the national convention or a national Bitcoin conference, the big one, the freaking Bitcoin magazine garbage. But probably not going to be doing that this year. Just going to be hitting all the big stuff, doing the big stuff, focusing on the show, trying to produce better content, get a few of the books out. Really need to get some of the books out. Focusing on this show, the podcast, the cool thing about YouTube is that the live stream has its own audience in a way, and then the YouTube show has its own audience, basically. So YouTube does a very good job in that sense of segmenting and the algorithm in that sense. So I want to get better, and we're going to do more with this live stream, make it better, maybe a little more professional-ish, but a lot of the same. Just better at me presenting things and maybe going over a bit more rapidly. But anyway, we're gonna get better with that. A lot of cool things in 2026, so it'll be good. Books. Need to educate. Yeah, Chris, I don't know why the Avalanche are really good this year. Nathan McKinnon's a beast. He's an animal. Makar's good. I can't believe how good Makar is. I remember watching him in college a little bit, and I was like, yeah, he's good. He won the Hobie Baker, I think, right before he came out. But I was, I didn't think he'd be this good. But that happens to some guys. That's the weird thing about sports is there's probably 10% of the guys they do better once they get to a higher competition, and they, peak, or it just brings more out of them. And Cale Makar seemed to be one of those guys where he seemed to get better. I know, like, Todd Bertuzzi back in the day was a great player growing up, but he was even better in the NHL. So, yeah, I mean, the only problem, Chris, is that people reporting fraud, I mean, it generally goes nowhere, right? I mean, like, what do you do? I think that's where the greatest thing for Revolution is to buy Bitcoin, obviously, right? Buy Bitcoin, put it in self-custody, generate your seed phrase, get your 12-word or 24-word seed phrase, boom, put them on your titanium stamp seed plate, good to go. You got freedom. We got freedom. Defunding. What better thing could you do than defunding the corrupt legacy debt-based monetary system? There's nothing better that you can do than defunding an evil system. It's incredible. So that's the big thing. And then talk, educate, get active. Again, at the end of the day, we don't have to. We don't have to do anything. We can sit back and stay humble, stack sats, and do nothing, and let society play out as it is. I'm under the belief that if people don't know about Bitcoin, I don't know how many people are actually going to come to it, but I do believe you have to get to a couple % of people to move everyone across society. Hence, again, the American Revolution. If George Washington would have sat down and said, yeah, okay, I won't do anything. You're right, King. Then where would we be? So therein lies the conundrum. So, yeah, I went to Steak and Shake yesterday. Oh, to your point, though, Chris, sorry, really quick. In the system, the fraud is the feature, not the bug. So fraud gets noted. I mean, look at all the fraud that was, look at all the fraud of Doge. And that's the thing that I think that people are sick of. And that's where I've been saying this for the last year or so, all the different podcasts that people invited me on. And I've said this exact thing, that this is a feature, not a bug, and it won't, until people get to a boiling point where they say enough's enough, I'm not doing this anymore, nothing changes. And it's a feature of the system. The fraud is meant to be covered up. What's the Max Kaiser? He always talks about Frederick Bastiat, right? Plunder and deceit. When plunder becomes a way of life, men will make a legal system that justifies it and a moral code that glorifies it. That's where we are. I mean, that's a philosopher from hundreds of years ago talking about this exact problem. And we are in that late stage managerialism. This ain't capitalism. This is late stage managerialism, late stage collectivism. In this world where it's a one size fits all approach. We're all a collective. It's not community. It's a collective. It's communism, not community. And that's the difference. You can't have community in a fiat-based system, right? When you build capitalism on top of a broken fiat quicksand, then the thing just dissolves into communism. Your community dissolves into communism. You have late-stage managerialism, late-stage collectivism, late-stage communism. That's where we're at. It's just a different form. It doesn't rhyme. It rhymes. It looks similar-ish, but it happens in different ways. And we're gonna have to dig ourselves out of that hole. We're gonna have to dig the society out of that quicksand. So roll up the sleeves, because the fraud's part of the system. It's a feature. That's why nothing gets done. Going back to keep tangenting. Going back to this part of the system, Doge. Look at Doge. All the fraud, USAID. That was the very first thing that was uncovered, basically, and then nothing happened after that. It was like, okay, we're gonna shut that down really quick. Shutting down USAID, or like any talk of that, and then nothing else was found, pretty much. And then Elon left. Okay. So how come this wasn't uncovered, right? Because this is happening everywhere in a million places. They didn't want Elon to find anything else. They did not want anything else to be found out. This is a feature. There will be no reporting. So I went to Steak and Shake, buy a burger with Bitcoin, and it finally orange pilled my girlfriend. She takes it serious now after seeing how quick it was. Lightning Network on strike for the win. Yeah. And that's it. And that's, it's coming. It takes time, right? And the settlement is the trade. The trade is the settlement, is the final settlement. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. It is there, done, instantaneous, fractions of a penny, a couple sats, and you're done. You have it. Now I don't. It's a ledger that can't be changed. The beauty of Bitcoin. That's going to take a while. People don't have settlement problems in the sense of like ease or like, oh, my credit card didn't work. It's a store of value problem, right? And then they start realizing, oh, I can use also this for no fees, no credit card fees. Oh, wow, I can do this even faster. Oh, wow, you have it now and I can't double spend it. I can't copy and paste it. I can't screw you over. There's no chargebacks. That's the beauty of the system. But it does take a while. It takes some time. Great stuff, guys. Been going for an hour. I think I'm going to jump on tomorrow at some point. Might do like a impromptu. Won't be in the studio probably, but maybe do like a car episode, something like that. Just a real intimate session. Wanted to create that show for a while, but just 2 beers deep. So you only can do the show after you've had 2 beers. That's it. That's how you do it. I think that show would crush. If you want a Bitcoin show that would crush, that will crush. So anyone who wants to run with that, feel free. Just got to name it 2 beers deep. That's all. That would crush. That would be a societal viral, I think, show where you just boom, you just go. Could get shut down fairly quickly. Again, the system doesn't like truth, so I know there'd be a lot of truth being spouted, and the talk would be maybe not kid friendly, but I think it would be amazing nonetheless. So get your study Bitcoin, get your cold storage wallets, use open source wallets if possible. Put your seed on stamp seeds. Put your seeds on titanium. Don't keep them in paper, and don't just memorize them either. Let's be smart. Run a node. Self-custody, each one teach one. The Lightning on Strike. Didn't catch you said. So he used Lightning Network. So it was just on Strike, Chris. He was just using Strike. And Strike uses Lightning. Or you can do on-chain or Lightning on Strike. So let me see. Again, like I said, I think I missed something to share. But, oh, you know what? And last thing is sign Bill and Kiane's. If you guys have not done this, we need to sign Bill and Kiane's petition. So do it. Be there. Be square. Sign Bill and Kiane's petition. I think we're almost up to 15,000. Oh, didn't catch what you said about the show. I'm going to probably do a show tomorrow. 2 beers deep. Someone needs to do a show called 2 beers deep. I'm going to do an intimate show maybe in the car tomorrow. I'll do something like, I just see a bunch of like macro guys, like Gen X macro guys, like doing car lives, all kinds of stuff, and like selling courses 24/7 and stuff like that. And I see them because I like to triangulate truth. And I like to listen to gold guys. I like to listen to, gold and silver guys. I like to listen to commodities people. I like to listen to, AI people. I like to garner what's going around the spectrum. I like to listen to people on the left side of the spectrum and the right side of the spectrum. So I try to gather intelligence just from all kinds of different sides of the investment world, political world, geopolitics, just different stuff like that. So my whole point was, it started as I did the car show the other day, and I was just kind of like making fun of it and making light of it. But I was like, maybe I'll do another one tomorrow. We'll do a little car show, an intimate show. Then I said we should call it Locker Room Talk. And I wanted to do a show for a long time called Locker Room Talk. But then the other show I wanted to make was 2 beers deep. So just, you had to have 2 beers before you did the podcast, or you had to have 2 beers before you did the locker room chat and went on and talked and got in the chat and, whatever. And then had a couple of people on the screen. And then, so you go riff on topics and go riff on stuff. But you had to have 2 beers. Everyone had to have 2 beers before you did the show. So I think that's, so anyway, sign the petition though. Sign this petition. What is it? It's Bill, wow, can't talk. BillAndKione.org. I'll put it in the thing actually. So protect privacy software software is code. Code is free speech. Like, what are we doing here? So go help the boys. Sign this if you have not already. Should be good there. I just put it in the chat. So I'm going to try to, I'll try and pin it. We'll see. Anyway, all right, what do we say? Nothing feels better than owning zero fiat. No truer words ever spoken. Owning Bitcoin feels way better. Yeah, it does. Feels amazing owning a decentralized network. No one can print more of. That's for dang sure. Era, what up? The cognitive dissonance is rough with the gold bugs. I used to be one of them. Haha. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? Era. Yeah. I was too. I was 15, 16 years ago in 2009 as a college senior who learned nothing about money, but graduated in pre-law, economics, all this stuff. I realized I need to start learning about money now. And then conversely, or, then subsequently, I should say, went and picked up Creature from Jekyll Island. And I got into that because I picked up Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki's book, Why I Want You to Be Rich. And then it led me down the path of metals, guide to investing in gold and silver with Mike Maloney. Yeah, shots will do, hat boy. Shots will do. And so that led me down the whole path of Creature from Jekyll Island, all these different books, and that you immediately realize, oh, shit, this system is completely fake, and they're screwing you with the currency. It's fake and backed by nothing. So we are done. We are done like dinner. So that was the eye opener for me 16 years ago. After being very political for 10 years, all the 2000s, 2009, and then 2009, 2010, just being awoken from the beast, the monetary beast, which controls the levers, which controls everything at the end of the day. Oh, damn it. So, okay, so Bill and Keanu, go check that out. Protect code, protect speech. I put the link in the chat. I need to put this up here, though. I got to try to image file, Titanic. Here, come on, what are we doing? I need to show, I haven't shared this in a while because we are, there we go. There we go. There we go. There it is. There it is. The fiat system and everyone telling you how insane you are. It's tough. So that was what made me think of it, though. You're all the cognitive dissonance is rough with gold bugs. I used to be one of them as well. And unfortunately, everyone in the legacy assets, the US dollar, everything denominated in the dollar. So whether it's brokerage accounts, pensions, 401ks, insurance, gold, silver, no one denominates in ounces. That's not how it works, and never will work. You can't have physical tokens. There's two monies in the world, two kinds. There's physical tokens and there's ledgers. You cannot have physical tokens running a global economy. It's physically impossible. It's physically impossible because you cannot have final settlement. This is where gold bugs have the cognitive dissonance. They're like, well, yeah, you can. You can just vault it. Like, do you not see the problem here? Like, you then have to trust, then, cutscene next day. I got to trust some guy that they have what they say they have in the vault, and some guy has to go count that, and then you have to go count that in every vault in the world. It just, the cognitive dissonance in being hopelessly inured in that system just literally blinds you and retards you from clear thinking and being sane. It like brings you back into the Stone Ages of not being able to see, oh, I can't have this physical thing that's going to do global commerce because there's no final settlement. What am I going to do? Throw it across the world? No, you can't. You cannot get the good that they're sending you. You have to now send that physical coin to them. And that's where all the funny games happen, right? From that point you click and buy or whatever it is, or get off the phone, boom. You now have to get that to someone, and that settlement can't be done. So all the funny games happen, the chargebacks and all the fees and everything happens in there. That's what Bitcoin's solved for. And so the ledger, a global ledger, is just who's tracking, that's what money is, tracking who has what. There's multiple things, but one of the big things is tracking who owns what and who did what, who transacted with who, a feedback loop, information loop. And so how do you make sure information is not copied? And gold and silver people cannot see that because they haven't done the homework. 99%. And the people that have done the homework, like a Larry Lepard or, I'm trying to think, there's, numerous people out there that have just over time they do that homework and they go down that rabbit hole and they see, oh, I see what this is. But again, if you're not reading Bitcoin is Time by Gigi, you don't understand that. You're not going to get that from the legacy system. You're not going to get that watching CNBC. You're not going to get that watching George Gamon's channel, unfortunately. Oh, God love him. Like, you're going to get financial plumbing of the Federal Reserve. Like, who cares? Again, I love George. I watched him 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it's like, you got to end the Fed hat, and all you're doing is learning about the Fed. Like, you are literally giving energy to that system that you say you want to take down. It makes, I don't know, the cognitive dissonance is, like you said, is wild. 2 shots will do. 2 shots will absolutely do. Doesn't have to be a beer. Yeah, Kiyosaki and Trump are amazing, Chris. Love them. They're great books. Again, I don't know the people personally, obviously Trump or Kiyosaki, but at least as teachers and their writers, their people, their teams were great. Their books were awesome. They have what, 2 or 3? I think they at least 2. They came out in 2000s and they're amazing books. Led me to obviously Rich Dad Poor Dad, all of them, and just completely breaking your thinking of what the system is. And that's capitalism versus communism. Communism is taught in government-run schools in America. So last 100 years. So it's tough. We have a system, a pseudo-science system. It's not real, but people think it is, unfortunately. So they're seeing everything through these glasses, through these filtered glasses, and they can't see it. Like we said, the gold and silver bugs, they cannot see it. They're on the Titanic. Are you crazy? USD is going up, and Bitcoin is much too volatile. And the Bitcoiners are the only ones who can see clearly what's going on, because they're the ones backing off the Titanic and actually see it's going down now. Because when you're on the ship, you're just told, hey, it's good, we're fine. You're reading newspaper clippings. It can't go down. It's impossible. American empire can't go down. There's no way. US dollar is too strong. We have too many aircraft carriers. We have the military. And on and on and on. All the excuses and all the things. So, yes, we nothing but debt. Robert Kiyosaki would be brilliant, because you have to keep getting further into debt, good debt, and then use that to your advantage. Now, Dave Ramsey's system worked better for the average person 50 years ago, and then it became obsolete. Comedically, I guess, the whole time he's been doing this, he's been wrong theoretically in the sense of saving in that system. It's high level. It is. It's meta. Because again, I've got 10,000 people that have become rich by saving dollars and investing in the whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, let's denominate all those millionaires. Let's denominate all their turns in inflation adjusted terms. I bet there's not that many millionaires anymore. There maybe is a couple hundred out of those 10,000 people that you guys looked at for your book that came out. I forget what book it is. But when you're just treading water, maybe because you're in the stock market and you're just treading water with the currency printing, because again, as we know, currency printing is what, 8% a year. That's the rate at which the stock market has gone up. So all these people thought, like, I'm winning, like I'm doing great, this is amazing. So you have, 50 years ago, grandma and grandpa bought their house for 10, 30, 50 grand, whatever it is. Now it's 500,000, or now weird ones. Only when you study Bitcoin and you start studying it, when you zoom away and back out from the sinking Titanic, can you see that without that filter, without that facade, that filter of the dollar. You have to be able to remove yourself from that. And it's tough. I mean, this book over here is probably one of the best books you can read on that topic, right? The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth. One of the best books of all time. It's going to be one of those that 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people look back and say, wow, that was a game changer. That was a humanity changer. Yes, good call. Midas Touch. Great book. That's a great book too. Both books are great books. I recommend everyone reading them. In an understanding from a Bitcoiner perspective, again, some of the things are not going to they're not going to be applicable necessarily just because we live in we understand Bitcoin. But again, going back to this Dave Ramsey thing that Ira was talking about, Dave's is right in this world though with Bitcoin. So if you are in Bitcoin now and you live on a Bitcoin standard, like we were saying, and like Dagger was saying earlier, feels great owning nothing or owning no dollars, if you live in this Bitcoin system, then you literally can live like Dave Ramsey. Cut your expenses, buy as much Bitcoin as you right? And rice and beans, whatever he says, right? So there you go. Cut your expenses, save, stack stats, wealth grows. That's Dave's plan. His plan is built for an equity-based system. So currencies backed by gold and silver, or backed by hard money, or backed by Bitcoin, right? So however you're going to do that, which we know can't. So all you need to do is just use Bitcoin. So now in this new world, if you're living in Bitcoin, if you have a hyper Bitcoinized world, or you yourself, your family are just on a Bitcoin standard, and that's how you're running and operating your life through Bitcoin only, then you will live in an equity-based world, and you can do that where you cut your expenses and you grow your equity with Bitcoin because it's a system backed by energy, backed by time and energy. So it's wild. So like I always thought that was ironic about Dave Ramsey because he was never right, but ironically he's right now, but he has the wrong currency. So he's a poor guy. He's doing all right though. He's worth $1 billion, fiat dollars. Eventually it won't be worth that much, but he's doing okay for right now. But I think they'll change. I do think I hold out hope for Dave. I think that they're open to changing. I think the younger personalities that they have, like look at Robert Kiyosaki, he's 5 years old, 76, and he gets it. You know, like he gets it in the sense that he's changing. I mean, Kiyosaki's always promoting learning and education, and that's why he talks about Bitcoin. He's a 77-year-old guy talking about Bitcoin, just in general, the last 5 years. I mean, think about that. He was 72, and now he's 77. So you have 70-year-olds talking about Bitcoin. That is because you have not, you know the importance of learning and growing and getting out of your comfort zone. Most people will not do that. That's one of the highest praises I could give to Kiyosaki. So not that he's always right. You know, he's always been calling crashes, yes. Many people have, though. It's not just Robert Kiyosaki. He probably gets some of the biggest crap for it, but he's right. He kind of just is still thinking in that old legacy system, thinking there's merit, thinking there's accountability, thinking like, oh, there's, you know, we can't print all this money. It's kind of like the guys that think like, oh, look at all these PE ratios. Like, these are way out of whack. There's no way this is not correct. Well, that's not how that works anymore. Like, we're in a system that needs to keep blowing the bubble or else the entire system fails. If PE ratios go back into whack and we have a huge deflation in this inflationary system, we are done. We're done like dinner. The whole thing implodes on itself. So you can't have that going forward. Anyway, that's why Jeff Ross was just on Danny's podcast, What Bitcoin Did. I'm sure some of you saw that. And he actually talked about this. And now this just registered in my head that Dr. Jeff talked about this, where you could have some of these currencies collapse soon, like China, some of these where you have so much deflation because there's so much technological advancement. Those two worlds don't mix. And that's why, yes, Chris, you have to read Price of Tomorrow. Absolutely, because that's what this entire book, it's like 150, 200 pages, easy read, but probably one of the most enlightening books anyone could read about deflation and technology, what's actually happening, because there's so much deflation and it's getting paid. Like, think about in a world where prices have been going down on TVs, electronics, a lot of things here in the West. That's how fast they've come down in the last 20 years. That's on top of, or that's considering all the currency printing that's been happening as well. So that's how fast, rapid some of this technological advancement is going. Well, that amount of printing is going to need to keep up and outpace all the AI, the robots, all these things going forward. If it doesn't just completely collapse, and if there's nothing there with any of these, with a lot of this stuff, then the system just will collapse anyway. But if there's true advancement in the sense of there's people losing jobs and there's actually way more productivity and there's cheaper prices, well, guess what? You're going to have to print so much currency to keep that system afloat, because with a system backed by nothing, backed with no real equity, you cannot have the system last. It literally implodes on itself because it's not backed by anything. So the best way to talk about or think about it is if you have 2 units, again, it's a system backed by nothing. So you have 2 units of equity in the system, but there's 4 units of debt, and you have, think of it as blocks, right? 4 blocks here, 2 blocks here. You have 2 blocks of equity, and they take out and pay off these 2 blocks of debt. Those go away, and all of a sudden, boom, there's 2 blocks of debt left. That's it. So now you have no equity, and there's just two blocks of debt left in the system. Again, it's a system built on pseudoscience. It's a fake system, digits in a computer. You owe, society is owed everything, or society is owing everything to who? And that's where it creates from Jekyll Island, central banking system, all that. Who are the owners? Who do we owe? Oh, you own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, who? Let's find out who that. We're about to find out. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We're going to find out who the owners of this system are. This global system we've been running, this global Ponzi scheme, the fiat currency, fake fiat debt-based monetary Titanic we've been living on, this entire globe, it's coming down. It's sinking. It takes a while. It takes 4 hours or 40 years or 400 years, but it's coming down because Bitcoin is helping expose all of it. It's not that Bitcoin's doing it. Bitcoin's exposing it. It's just a mirror showing everyone, hey, this is what's happening right now. This picture is basically what Bitcoin is doing. It's just showing you, it's getting you away from the Titanic and showing people, hey, whoa. There's actually something going on here that we didn't realize. None of us even realized this was happening. Well, guess what? Now we can see it. And now the people on the life raft found the phone, the camera phone somehow, and now they're taking pictures. And they're sending that picture to people on the ship. So someone found a camera or an iPhone on the life raft there, and they're sending pictures to people on the Titanic and saying, hey, yeah, it's actually going down, guys. So here we are. Let me see. Sorry, I lost my... oh, yeah. Love that, dude. Dale, yes. What is up? Good to see you. Yes, I hope he comes around. Someone needs to come at him with the ethics argument. Yeah, and Chris might have said it. Someone just said it right here, too. Yeah, Era. Oh, yeah, you used to answer your own thing. God hates the money changers. So if Dave truly hates God, or truly follows God, he needs to promote the money that can't be inflated via, aka Bitcoin. Yeah, and that's where I think of, like, there's so many good books. There's so many good books. There's obviously this one. There's Modern Chains by Neil Fletcher. Thank God for Bitcoin. The Case for Moral Money. Moral Money? Yeah. This one, Moral Money. There's so many good books. Alan, Pastor Coin on Twitter. Alan Armstrong has The Bible and Bitcoin. There are so many good books. You know what? That's a good idea. We should barrage Dave with The Bible and Bitcoin, all these books. I'm gonna make a care package this year. That's one of my things I'm gonna do here in the next week. I'm gonna order some of those, make a care package, and send it down to Nashville. Send it down to Dave Ramsey's headquarters, and we'll get some people there reading it. There's gonna be some few. We can all do it. Everyone can send us a few books there. So that's a great idea, because someone will read it, send a little note, and say, "Hey, if you really believe this, then you should live by it." That's what we should do. All it takes is a couple people. And that's the thing. I think that's where, at the end of the day, all it takes is one of us talking to the right person, and everything changes. Everything changes at the end of the day. So one of us at some point will talk to and speak to the right person, or the message will get to the right person. Boom, done. Just exponential growth after that. Boom, just the right people. And they just, it could be Dave Ramsey. It could be, Donald Trump. It could be a Dave Ramsey. It could be a Bernie Sanders. It could be, Elon Musk or whoever, right? It could be someone, or it could be someone that's, a nun, who knows? Like, I don't know who that is. It's someone with a ton of fame or someone with not that much fame. Could be this Minnesota daycare thing. Like, you don't know. That's the beauty of life, is it could be so many different things that happen out of nowhere, out of left field, that none of us expect. Then boom, all of a sudden, the right thing, the right time, the right place, it just hits with society and then just takes off. And I think that's where we're going. I think it's going to be black swans good, and then mixed with, black swans bad happening, but mixed with good things, these good events where all of a sudden just takes off and people realize, oh my gosh, like we've been lied to. This is, again, it's already started, right? People are realizing the amount of lies through COVID, what just happened here, and then this past year with Doge, and then now these things happening the last couple of months with the North Carolina train incident, and then a week or two later with Charlie Kirk, and then now with stuff like this. People are fed up. I mean, people are at their wits' end. And again, I think a lot of us Bitcoiners, I know myself personally, 15 years ago, I thought people would be fed up. Occupy Wall Street and Tea Party, people were fed up. Now we're kind of like in a different generation of people, though. We have like a changing of the guard. So now people have to get fed up again, but all these things are now coming together. So you have this world where things are getting stacked on top of each other, and people are starting to really wake up and say, whoa, 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 I've seen this now one too many times. We have too many social media, too many videos, too many things going on where I see what's actually happening. And I'm not standing for this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not having my family screwed over. My husband's going to work. My wife's going to work. My grandparents, my brothers and sisters, whoever it is, and they're going to work and being screwed over by their tax money just going to anything and everything all the time. People are done. And the younger generations, we've talked about this many times, the younger generations will not put up with the lack of transparency and the lack of justice will not be stood for by the younger generations. Millennial, Gen Y, and younger, then Gen Z, and Gen Alpha will not stand for it. There's no like handshake because community's been broken. Remember, we don't have community anymore. So there's no community. It's just trust. It's seeing what's going on in the world and then trying to verify it. And if that can't be and if that trust is broken, boom, gone. People won't stand for it. It's different times. So, losing my thing again. Kiyosaki called the recent Bitcoin drop and the recent increase in silver. Did he really? I haven't seen that. Yeah, and I love him because he's always just like, just buy Bitcoin. I mean, he's been saying for years now, really, by 5, 6, 7 years, buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I mean, every tweet he pretty much says for the last 5, 6 years, minimum, has said at the end, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, take care. Buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, take care. And so, again, Bitcoin is going to be the winner long-term globally. Gold and silver might win in the short run. And again, remember, silver and gold are a legacy asset. A lot of older money has it. Most of the money is and assets are in older generations' hands. So what are they used to? What do they like? And again, let's be honest, what do governments like? This is why the fight is going to be strong. It's going to be a fight. And it's going to be education. It's going to be a process because governments are collections of people and they don't want to give up power. The government's job is to theoretically protect the people. So if the government feels, oh, I'm losing control, my job is to protect people, and the people are running away and taking all of power, the government, a collection of people, feels threatened. Therefore, the founding fathers knew, oh, we need to limit government because that's the natural state of government. Again, it's not, you have to kind of think, like, take the emotions out of it and realize, like, that's just what it is. That's just how government runs. That's kind of the job of government, is to try to corral the people. So the beauty of that is that government being a collection of people, the people benefit from Bitcoin, and the people in government, their families benefit from Bitcoin, and they all see that, and it'll begin to fund Bitcoin. And the people that gain more wealth in Bitcoin will continue to. And we're not doing this. Is not. Especially in the East right now, they want gold and silver because that system, yes, will it be tethered to reality? And yes, they will be the ones. He who has the gold makes the rules. At least that's always how it's always been. So they live in that world still. They will still in the interim make a lot of the rules. You and I aren't going to make the rules right now. Like, call it what it is. If everything society collapses tomorrow, it's probably not going to be you and I making global rules. Can we make rules for our own family and live how we want to live? Yeah, of course. You can do that right now. However, the global rules order will be set up by people that have gold and silver. They're in a lot of positions of power probably right now, but they know that system will be corrupted once again. That's why people want to go towards gold and silver, because they want the ability to then corrupt it again, because there's no auditability. It's impossible to audit. So I know, therefore, my family, 3 generations down, will be able to take power and control once again by inflating the currency and bastardizing the currency. That is just how this plays out. So Bitcoin is the thing. That's where the signal and all this noise is. You have to look around and you say, wow, Bitcoin is the thing not being talked about by any of these people, because that very thing, like we talked about earlier with the quantum and the energy fund and all this stuff, it is there purposely not being talked about, and it's only being flooded by people. So at the end of the day, short term, gold and silver win. Going up right now. Sure, going up in nominal price. But we know long term, which could be 6 months from now, a year from now, and on, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, 100 years from now, Bitcoin wins. Gold and silver need to be commodities. They need to be utility value. They need to do what they do best, which is be in electronics, right? Be in your teeth, be in your mouth. They need to do what they need to. Because again, if the gold and silver price go up, if there's something else that money does, it makes these necessities go up in value. So now we either can't make the product and we can't run our lives, or the price goes way up. It literally makes no sense. And this is where gold and silver is on the Titanic. People are on the Titanic with it. They think like, oh, this is going to be the next system. It ain't going to be the next system. The younger generations will not put up with it. Period. End of story. Do you think someone who's 8 years old right now, or is 5 or 15, is going to be like, yeah, give me some of that gold and silver? Wait, it's going to make my life more expensive? Because if the price goes up, now things are going to be more expensive because of that? No, of course not. And this education only is going to continue. The truth will continue to get out. The truth will continue to spread. Look, you have people in El Salvador, like there's courses on this stuff. Kids are being taught the real truth now all over the place. Bitcoiners, their children are learning truth. My children have been learning truth for the last 9 years. They know exactly what's going on. They won't live in any other world. They will operate and start businesses in a Bitcoin world, period. And they will live in a Bitcoin world. And they will build Bitcoin businesses, period. We ain't going back. That should be the start and name of every show. We ain't going back. So, bought it. I love it, Chris. Yeah, you are not going to be disappointed. It's literally one of the only books, Price of Tomorrow, that we're talking about for anyone missed. Right there, back there. The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth is one of the only books that I've actually bought and given away to other people. That's how important I think it is for now and going forward in the future. And Jeff wrote it in what, 2019, I think? So someone correct me if I'm wrong. And everything he said has come true. And it's getting more and more true by the day. It's unbelievable. And he only talks about Bitcoin like a couple of times. Like it's mentioned once or twice in the last couple of pages of the book, I think, and that's it. So, wild. Absolutely wild. Dave Volt. Bitcoin Enlightenment by Ricardo Salinas is a good book. I've seen Ricardo talk numerous times. I always love when he speaks, but I did not know he had a book. I will check that out, actually. I did not know that. I get the feeling when I'm talking to friends or family that instantly reject me. Dale said they think I'm pitching to get rich quick scheme or a stock tip. It's hard to explain to them what Bitcoin is. And it is its own discovery. It is. It really is at the end of the day. And I think I think for me, I know for 2026, I want to be a lot different person. I need to go back to really how I was, probably more in an athletic world where I was really on top of my nutrition, really on top of the weights, really on top of stuff and setting an example. Because at the end of the day, you have to be the example for what you want to set in the world. And I think that's, Bitcoiners do a pretty good job of that overall. And I think we can always get better. All of us can always get better. And I think that's the standard that I know I've always held myself to. I'm very hard on myself in that regard. And I know that there's areas where I need to be much better. So I think that's the thing that I'm focusing on much more now going forward, is just walking the talk even more. Because you're right. You can't tell people what to do. You can't tell them Bitcoin. They have to discover it on their own. They have to see you thriving. They have to see you succeeding, and they have to mixed with pain, unfortunately, in their own life. You don't want your family to get burned, and friends and the people around you. But at the same time, you can't force people to do anything. What's the saying? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? So we have to be what we want to see in the world. Guys, watch out from this guy. Bitcoin is a scam. He is brainwashing you. Wow, Faster Star. What is good? Oh, man. Too funny. Silver is used in many medical equipment. If the price of silver gets high, hospitals will suffer a lot. Yeah, and that's the problem. And medical bills are really expensive because people suffer a lot. Go to Bitcoin. Silver isn't money. Exactly. And silver's amazing. We did the video the other day, right, with the silver coins. And silver's amazing. Silver's great. Gold's great. It's not that they're not. They're just not good money. And that's okay. It's okay. We have something better now. For a long time, that's all we had. Now, as of a couple hours from now, 17 years ago, we have something else. We discovered the best money humans have ever had. It's truly beautiful. It's a ledger that cannot be corrupted. and we can use to convey and use price discovery and send information around the world that can't be corrupted and messed with by a third party. We don't have to trust. That auditing is the system. That every 10 minutes is the trust. That's showing you. Run a node. Look at the mempool. Look at the blocks. Go look at the time chain. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. You cannot do that with gold. You can't silver. You cannot do that with any other system. You can't do that with your dollars. You can't do that with Chase Bank. You cannot do that. Look, I mean, the daycare fraud is the most recent glaring example of this. And this right here, what Aster said, is just so, it's so painfully obvious, unfortunately. And this is where I just feel like we are going to have to learn some lessons as society, unfortunately, and go through some of this pain. I already have survivor's guilt, Johnny. Goodness. I agree. I mean, again, I think that's why all of us are here, right? I think we're here. We do this for two reasons. One, to try to educate other people, and you kind of have guilt in a way, but you really, it's altruism at the end of the day. Like you and I, like us just sitting on here isn't like going to move the Bitcoin price up, right? You're hoping you can keep educating people and making society better, because we've said this for a long time too. The last person into the Bitcoin network still benefits immensely. I mean, exponentially more than you could ever imagine, because what happens through that whole process as people are adopting Bitcoin, that whole way up, society gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better. So the last person into the network, the 8 billionth person in the network, still wins, because society has healed to such a degree because of people around them becoming happier, better, more fulfilled, off the hamster wheel, creating more things. There's more art, there's more freedom, whatever it is, not going to jobs they hate, being fulfilled because they're swinging hammers more and they're creating things with their hands and doing, we have, Bitcoin is generational wealth is one of the best videos, I think, by far. The 15-minute video Matt Hornick and Tomer Strolight did. Go look it up on YouTube. It's got hundreds of thousands of views. I think it's on Swan Bitcoin's channel. It might be somewhere else. I've watched it 1,000 times. It's one of my favorite videos, because that's what the future is and will be on a Bitcoin standard. And it's just not, that knowledge is not evenly distributed yet. And it's going to take pain, unfortunately, to get there. And you have the altruistic side of you, because we're all humans and we're all good. We're all made in God's image. So we're good people, all of us. And we're all cracked vessels. So evil spirits can incept any of us at any time. And that's where you get some people doing some odd things and some evil things. But we all want to do good. We all want the people around us to be good. Naturally, that's our natural state. And that's why the altruism in us feels like, I want to help the people around me. I want to help my friends and family. I want to tell them about this thing. I have the cure for economic cancer. Like if someone has cancer and you have the cure for it, clearly you're going to go run into them and say, hey, I've got this cure. You should try it. And for whatever reason, money is one of the most emotional things in the world. Well, not for no reason, I should say, but for good reason. And so it's the hardest for people to kind of get through. If you had, if someone has cancer, they're dying much quicker than just you normally are dying. So you're apt to try more things. But when you're in this ephemeral world and people have been scammed for so long on fiat, they feel like anything to do with money is a scam against them. And it's so emotional and tied literally to your time and energy on earth as well. So people are very guarded with it. And so you say, hey, I have a cure for economic cancer. But the problem is they don't even think they have a problem a lot of times, or something to that effect, right? Or the answer can't be that easy with Bitcoin, that they say, oh, they repel, and say, no, I can't. There's no way. No, you're a scammer. But it's just a misunderstanding and a lack of understanding of what money is at the end of the day. So sad, because we needed silver as metal, not as money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. You beat me to the punch. I was trying to say that earlier. I think I went on a tangent. Keep gold, silver, copper, and all metals as metals. They are not money. Yeah, well said. Well said. You're one of the few people that have actually come up and actually said that, just even across society, no one, very few people just say no, they're great. We just need them as metals. We need them as metals, not as money. So I love that, Aster. Yeah, I like to say that gold and silver have failed for thousands of years as money. Yes, Ira. Same. Everyone always says gold and silver it's the one thing in the column they have where Bitcoin is 5,000 years of history. It's it's 5,000 years of history of screwing you over. You're always getting screwed at the end of the day. Now, again, in the short term, it is good, or locally it's good to trade. You can trade some gold and silver with your buddy or something like that. But long term and globally, you're getting screwed all the time. It's 5,000 years history. That's why we have fiat and why we have credit. It's because of metals. That's why it's failed every single time. So it's the sheer irony of it that is comedic and sad, unfortunately. Survivor's guilt equals just buy all so we can help loved ones later. Yeah, I mean, really, that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. And that's where these layer 2 solutions, layer 3, the Fedi mints, things of that nature, the federated mints, these things are going to happen. They're going to, that's why it's on us to just keep educating ourselves, educate the people around us. There's going to be more Somali daycare center stuff going on. There's going to be plenty more of that going on. We know there's going to be more. I mean, much more. It ain't going to be the last time that something happens. What people fail to grasp is the technology evolution of money. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Pandal trading. It's so true. It's I mean, no one even understands money at all, right? Like no one, very few have ever been taught. Right? Again, why aren't we taught money in school? Why aren't we taught the definition of money or definitions? I could think of maybe 4, 5, 6 different definitions of money. A store of your time and energy, a container for your time and energy. It's a feedback loop. It's a ledger. Who has what? It's a best non-saleable market good. Like there's a handful of really good definitions that kind of explain the different facets of money, but the average person doesn't know any of those. You have to know what money is for anything to even make sense. Otherwise, it's just complete like witchcraft to people, which is sad. But again, why is that not taught? Someone has to ask themselves that. I mean, everyone's like, why can't you even balance a checkbook? Like, you should have taught us that in school. And that's where people stop. They just stop there and then like leave. It's like, well, we should probably do something about that. But no one wants to. The government's never going to, because the government doesn't want you to know that. Oh, it's the same difference when people prefer paper books rather than digital books. I am a paper book guy, though. I got a lot of paper books. It's mainly because I don't want people burning all the books. I just want the hard copies at some point. Though I do like holding them too. I really do like holding them, and I like marking them all down. That's the other thing though too. I mean, both. I can see both. I have digital. I mean, I have digital stuff too, but I mainly actually have paper books. I really like paper books, and I like libraries. I'm old school in that regard. But it's the same thing. I mean, to your point though, it is the same thing in the sense of also music. You think of like we don't carry Walkmans, we don't carry all that. I think the thing that also Pandal, oh yeah, you said it right here. I already put it up. Jeez. But people don't, they miss that. The other thing they miss though is this is why people get into this technological, like, well, don't you know the next thing? The next thing will beat Bitcoin as well. The next Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin because people don't understand that Bitcoin is a protocol. It's an aggregation of technologies. It's a bunch of technologies put together to create this protocol. And that's where people think it's going to get beat. Well, you can't beat fire with new fire. That's not how it works. So again, the protocol, again, people just think it's like this technology, like it's going to be like this new thing is going to come through. It's, you found triple entry accounting. Like you don't find that again. Can't do it. Not going back, as we said earlier. Bitcoin is digital money. People are stuck in previous paradigm. Yeah, that's it. 100%. 100%. Couldn't agree more. When visiting family in Des Moines, we went to a hockey game and the arena doesn't take cash anymore. Fun time to remind the family that it's coming. It is crazy. I mean, look at like the penny went away this past year in 2025, like all this stuff. I know they phased out a bunch of currencies over time. The penny's going away. I mean, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going here? It's here. It's coming. Do you think John Nash is Satoshi? There's a guy who came on Robert Brila podcast and put together a good case. I've heard some good cases for John Nash. A bunch of people. Obviously, the Hal Finney stuff, John Nash. I don't even remember all the names now. There's a couple, like two other names. I'll just say this. I mean, I really don't care. I just tell people like the NSA created it. Like that's why I just go like, yeah, no, just go with the NSA created it. Like just do it, because hopefully some of that just breaks people's mind as well. Like as you're saying that, and I mean, number one, I guess the reason is, he did it purposely, or he, she, they did it purposely to be anonymous. So want to respect it, number one. But number two, obviously it doesn't matter. So I don't care about it. Like even if it was, even like, I guess part of it is, even if someone came back and moved Satoshi's coins and whatever, it still doesn't matter. Like they don't control Bitcoin. So it doesn't even matter. And that's why I go with, hey, it's just the NSA. The NSA created it, government created it. And then it spurs conversation on like, well, does it matter then? But does it matter? And that's where it spurs conversation on, with it as well. And that's why I say it's just to break people's mind and just be polarizing. Oh man. But I didn't see that. I did not see the John Nash episode you're talking about though, or someone talking about it. You see lots of base case base discussion, subscription layers that exist from essential base sub, and then some more premium sub with added features. Right, Bitcoin adds feature, self custody, permissionless, blah blah blah. Except, but with sane substantial cost. Yeah, it's just better. It is. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I agree. Panel trading. Yeah, it's just again, Bitcoin is timed by GG is one of the best and most simple. It's a long article, but it's one of the best articles just describing this entire thing. Right? We've been talking about a lot. Bitcoin is time and physical tokens versus a ledger and the two monies and picking the right one, etc. John Nash used to work for the NSA. I didn't know that. Or no, wait, I did. I'm thinking of, who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of, it's a guy. John Nash isn't the one who took himself out in like 2012 or 2013. I'm thinking of that guy. I'm trying to think of who that, there's like 3 or 4 guys that are always in my head, I guess, when someone brings that up. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I'll have to go watch that one though, because I didn't watch it. Once the boomer generation disappears, it'll be obvious for everyone. Yeah, it's a silent generation. Still, some silent generation and the boomer generation. It's just typical, and that's how life works, right? That's all life. Science progresses one funeral at a time. That's how life works. Which is a protection mechanism at the end of the day. I mean, just imagine a society with just like ping-ponging back and forth, like rapidly, like, oh, new generation. 5 years later, the next new generation says this. That would be wild. So that's why I think it does take longer. All this takes longer. You need more pain and to jolt people, and then you need time, or one or the other, or both, because you need those generational divides to go away, and those are natural protection mechanisms. So it's just how society is built. So that's why these things take a while. But like we said earlier, I know some of you guys might not have been here in the beginning, 26 years from the Stamp Act in 1765 to 1791, when we had the Bill of Rights to enshrine those personal freedoms, or at least try to enshrine those personal freedoms. Done a pretty good job so far. But 26 years, right? So 26 years from 2009, Bitcoin's birthday tomorrow, 17th birthday, that puts us at 2035 of, some systems, around it. So 10 more years, basically 10 more years of educating, building different layers, building different businesses, building different entities, building a credo. The Bushido of Bitcoin is something I started reading recently. I've flipped through it a few times. It's so good, by Alex Svetsky. And just like, again, being the person you want to be, the systems of governance going forward. There's also another one just talking about the Federalist Papers. It's the Satoshi Papers, right? Natalie Smolenski, that's a good one. I flipped through that a bit. That one's, they're both big books, but they're both really good books about the future. And they're two different things, like the anthropological look at the systems of governance, the Satoshi Papers, and then the being part, the psychological aspect and the societal part, culture of the Bushido of Bitcoin. So it's going to be interesting. We've got 10 years to really hammer this stuff. So the biggest wealth in terms of money is with the boomer gen. Yeah. And you know what, Pandal, I was seeing, you might have the whatchamacallit, the stats on it, but we were at the Miami conference a couple years ago, and we were riding like an Uber or something like that. And a bunch of us were talking about how someone brought up the boomer generation at this age, the age of the millennial generation had 20% or around 20% of or 20-25% of the nation's wealth. And right now the millennial generation has like 3 to 5% of the nation's wealth. So it just shows you the disparity and the massive disparity going forward. And it's going to change. It's going to change going forward. So once it's passed down, or to newer gens, it'll flow into digital assets and mainly to Bitcoin. Yeah, and it'll flow into Bitcoin, and again, it'll be the system that people use. Like, because things are going to keep happening. This is the thing that, again, like we've been talking about this throughout the show, dumber and dumber things will keep happening. And so people will continue to wake up, and you will have people coming to all of you, because I've had it happen to me in my life over the last 10 years, and people saying, hey, I used to think you were crazy, but hey, I used to think you were a bit extreme, but hey, I used to have X, Y, and Z, but those things have happened to me numerous times over especially the last 5 years. And a lot of it, it was just the Bitcoin stuff, government. It's not red versus blue. It's the state versus you. Hey, there's 99% of us and there's 1% of them. Like that's the thing that wakes people up, but it has to be mixed with their own life experiences of them getting hit in the face. Like we talked about an hour ago of being in a bar fight. When you're in a hockey fight, you're in a bar fight or something, you got to know right away, but it takes people a while. Some people need a punch or two. They need to get rocked a few times. Then they realize like, whoa, I'm in a fight. Like I am in a war right now. And life isn't fair. Like, war likes you. You might not like war, but war likes you. So takes everyone a little bit different time to wake up and smell the coffee, as they used to say, right? Smell the Folgers. That's old school right there. Someone recently said it takes 16% of adoption of anything for something to snowball into acceptance. Yeah, I always go with a couple percent, like 3%, because the Revolutionary War was around that, give or take. I mean, 16%, 20%, 25% were for the war, I believe, or a little bit more, but only a couple percent really fought in the Revolutionary War. So to your point, who actually proverbially takes up the musket, who's for it, against it, whatever, I think you're starting to lose my voice. I think we'll say 10%. And I've seen 10%. I've seen some more studies on 10%. So in between what you and I are saying. Someone said it takes, so we ain't going back. So, okay, so let's do, I don't know how to share my calculator on here. I'm gonna try to do the math though again. So 20, so on one of our sponsors, talking about community, which we've talked about here many times, is Club Orange, which you guys might know of as the Orange Pill app. They have changed to Club Orange. They are awesome, right? Mateo, Brian DeMint, if you guys know them, awesome community. There's 20,000 people on that app. 20,000. And those are people who are probably hardcore Bitcoiners, right? Well, how many people do you think are actually hardcore Bitcoiners across the earth? I think there's those 20,000 plus, I don't know, how many more? 3 times as many, 5 times, 10 times as many? Are there 200,000 hardcore Bitcoiners on earth? Is there 2 million? Is there a million? So, I mean, I don't know. I say there's a couple million. Even if you said there's a couple million and there's only 20,000 in the Bitcoin, like if you're a hardcore Bitcoiner, you probably are on there, but even say 10 times as many, like we'll cut it in half. Just say a million. What's a million divided by? Of course, this thing's not working. Computer's just losing its mind. So yeah, I mean, people say like there's 100 million people that own Bitcoin. Yeah, but those ain't Bitcoiners. Like most people aren't Bitcoiners, and so we got much longer. I think that's what's confusing to people is everyone just thinks like, well, like everyone's going to adopt it. Everyone did adopt it. It's got 100 million people. Oh, it's on Wall Street. No, the actual Bitcoiner, the person that's actually ticked off and actually going to do something about something, they're actually going to get in their boat and go across the icy Delaware River. We're at 0.000125% of the society, of the globe, that is an actual Bitcoiner. That's a million people, we'll say, that would be, I mean, again, if that was the case, though, I feel like we'd have a few more people in this chat, though. I mean, there's only so many Bitcoin streams going on Friday night right now, right? I mean, how many other ones are out there? A couple? A couple of spaces. So, I mean, there's not a lot of guys. I think million's a generous number, a million actual freedom-loving Bitcoiners, freedom fighters. So, even that, put on another 0.00001%. We got a ways to go. So, but it's good. We're early. It's great. And we got time to build. We got time to educate people. It's time to build. It's time to rock and roll. So, and again, as most people don't forecast anything years in advance, no, they can't because they're on the hamster wheel. That's what fiat does, right? That was the whole point of the beginning of the show, right? Which I know I don't think you were here, Pandal, but we were talking about the whole point is people are on the hamster wheel. If they can't tell, they don't know what's going on. If they want to keep being defrauded, you want to keep having everything frozen. Trump's freezing the daycare funds, this and that. Like all these things are just minor. They don't do anything to actually fix the problem, right? The bullet, hole is still in there. Like you haven't, no one's, you're just putting a Band-Aid on the bullet hole. So need to get to the root of the problem. How many fights have I been in? Oh man, probably 100 in my life. Like, just over the course of my life. And that's even counting when I was younger too. But like when I was an adult, probably, or like let's say 15 and up, like in like hockey fights, probably 50 or 75. I don't know, somewhere. It's probably 50 to something like that. I don't know, something like that. 10 a year, call it 10 or 12 a year, 10 a year. Need a good Donnybrook. Feel alive, right? Fight Club. Bitcoin Fight Club. It must be linked to the number of wallets. Amazing stuff, guys. Hour 55. Again, went an hour to an hour and a half longer than I was thinking I was going to. Starting to lose my voice. No, I'm not tough. So I'll give you guys a tip. It's not about fighting. It's not. So jiu-jitsu, great, because anyone can do it, men and women. And you can learn to, number one, you want to stay out of fights. That's the number one rule for everybody. You want to stay out of fights. Do everything you can to not be in a fight, because anything can happen, not good. So you want to stay out of fight. That's like buy Bitcoin. You don't want to get run over by the system. Don't even put yourself in that spot. So you want to run away first. You don't want to be in a fight. Number two, everyone can throw punches, generally speaking, but he who can take the punch is generally the one who wins. So, but that's why jiu-jitsu is really good, because men and women, like, you can learn to defend yourself, stuff like that. It's so good. So stack your food, water, Bitcoin, self-custody, run a node, everything, and do jiu-jitsu. So I think this, at the end of the day, this is it's important to have those life skills. But taking the punch, I'm not someone who can take the punch. I'll get bloody, stuff like that. But I've seen guys and they can hit him with like a 2x4 like 10 times and they just laugh. So fighting, a lot of times, like fights, like in the octagon or like hockey, he who can take the punch generally wins. So I did it because I was protecting people, like just standing up for people. I was protecting people. I wasn't a fighter, if that makes sense, right? I was a hockey player, and hockey players sometimes get in fights. There are some guys who are fighters, and they happen to play hockey. They happen to have skates on and gloves. Oh man. Though I feel like Bitcoin adoption will still take longer. Yeah, bingo, Panda trading, boom. Exactly. That's exactly the way I feel. There's kind of a trauma into people's brains ingrained to cause media and bakers. Yeah, exactly. There's no intrinsic value for years of stuck. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, get the INTJs. Get it up, Dale. Let's go. I would venture to guess we're all INTJs. Do you like the Rocky movies? Yeah, the Rocky movies they're classic. I haven't seen them in years, but yeah, they're so classic. I watched them a bunch, when I was younger. So good. Amazing stuff, guys. Try to go live tomorrow. Do an intimate session in the car. I got to go. I'm tired. And Bitcoin's birthday tomorrow. 17th birthday. So we'll have to that's why I got to do a live stream tomorrow. And then got some recording next week. Samson, Doomberg, Tony Asbeck. We'll have probably Samson's come out next week. It's going to be a fun one. 2026 is going to be great. Appreciate all you guys. Dale, everyone. Chris, great being with you guys for a while, of course. Way longer. Like Clean Your Machine says, like everybody usually says, way longer than we're supposed to. We always break the rules. John, Sparkly Horns, Tore Up, Stack the Dip, Dagger, Kenyon, Din, Digital Lark, man, there's so many people. Hatboy, Trini, so many people on today. Appreciate you guys a ton. Hanging out on a Friday night. Kelvin, Chris, man, good one. E-Raw. Hope I'm not missing anybody. Let me see. Drew, Dale, I don't know if I said Dale, Astrostar, Johnny, let's go, Johnny Lee Young, Pando Trading, let us rock and roll, let us go. Love it, guys. Love it. I feel like I'm missing someone here at the end. I hope not. You guys are awesome. Yes. Keep your stick on the ice. Got to keep up the fight. That's what we're here for. That's what matters at the end of the day. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.